Howdy hey and welcome back to another video. Eventually I will get an actual intro down. Actually, when trying to come up with an intro idea, I did have this one thought cross my mind that I could do. So let's try it out, okay? I'll be right back. I have to get the prop for the opening. Okay. And action. Hello everyone, and I already messed up. And cut. And action again. Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Taylor Nicole and you are on my channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, Tofu says hello. Here's Tofu. Hooray! If you are a returning subscriber, you get this special greeting from Tofu. If you would like a special animal greeting at the beginning of every single one of my videos, go ahead and subscribe, because otherwise I'm just saying hi to you and this little special message that's hi from Tofu isn't for you if you're not subscribed. Don't you want this cute? He bit my nose! I swear I was just trying to get my face in frame to like pose with him and he bit my nose. Don't you want this cute? Just when I was saying how much friendlier you got. That was really not cool, dude.
Hello.
I really wanted him to just calmly look at the camera for like the intro to be cute, but he's on a journey right now. He will not stop moving, so I'm gonna put him away. And if you are a returning subscriber, Louis says hello. Welcome to the video. If you'd like to get an animal greeting at the beginning of every video, subscribe. I hate myself. Okay, so that idea might suck. I mean, sure, you can watch the animals say hi at the beginning of every video, regardless of if you're a subscriber or not. But if you're a subscriber, they actually mean it. They actually say hello to you. And as you can tell, they're they're excited to do it. So today's video is about setting up a freshwater planted tank, which I've always known to suck at. So that's gonna be really interesting today. Will I be able to do it? It's a mystery. You know what else is a mystery? Today's sponsor. Actually, it's not a mystery. I know who today's sponsor is, and you're about to know also, but it's a mystery styled sponsor, game, app. I was trying to be witty. Anyway, we got a sponsored video today. Hooray! Please check them out, because by checking them out, you're helping me, and it's a fun game, and it's a win-win. Let's check them out. Before we get into the rest of the video, we actually do have a sponsor today, and I'm super excited about it. Today's sponsor is June's Journey. I'm actually pretty excited about this because this game is actually really fun, but also really relaxing. So first off, June's Journey is a free mobile game. Honestly, even just the scenery and the way this game looks is really beautiful and chill and relaxing. I just find it a really fun way to just end the night or just chill out if I'm feeling stressed. All of the scenes are orchestrated very carefully to hide all of the clues you gotta look for in order to get to the next chapters. The game is set in the 1920s, and your goal as detective is to solve this riveting murder mystery. The protagonist in this story is June Parker, and we are trying to solve the murder of her sister. There are hundreds of scenes, and they are all beautifully crafted. Just even the way this game was designed is just so beautiful to me. It really just helps you get out of your mind and immerse yourself into this really interesting story. It can be challenging, but in a way that you're still, you know, relaxed, but just, you know, focused and into it. If this is your type of game, or if you're in the mood to try something new, go download June's Journey today. I was super pleased with this game, and I was super happy to have them as a sponsor. So thank you again to June's Journey for sponsoring this video. I've had betta tanks before. I think I've had 2 or 3 in total. The first one I ever had was when I found a betta fish on the floor at my old job at PetSchmo. I don't know what happened. I honestly think someone lifted up the lid of a betta cup that they sold there and just let the betta jump out onto the floor and left them there. That's the kind of stuff I dealt with at that job. He was still alive when we found him, so I decided to take him home, and because of that, I had to take some of the water from a tank at work home because it was just like a really quick having to set it up quickly thing, and I bought some beneficial bacteria and I tried to make it work the best I could, but it died within like 2 weeks, and that was one of my first fish ever. I think that was my first fish ever. I don't know if it was something I did wrong. I don't know if he just never recovered from being literally thrown on the ground. I don't know what happened. I was a very novice fish person, so it easily could have been my fault. It also was a very rushed setup, which is something I'm doing the complete opposite of this time. Basically, I went to pet in Petschmo to buy a new filter for my axolotl tank. That's all I needed. It was gonna be about maybe $15 at the absolute most, depending on if I just got the media or an all new filter. Walked in there and I fell in love with a betta fish. It was the cutest betta fish I've seen, just because similar to how like Cheese and my new little queso likes to look at people and like follow them around, this betta fish was eyeing me. And I was like, does he see me? Because I see him and he's cute. Me when I see a cute boy. Anyway, that's when I thought of the fact that I've been wanting to set up a freshwater planted tank for a long time. I've tried to do it before and I failed miserably at trying to keep plants alive. I just, for some reason, do not have a green thumb. I cannot keep plants alive. I've killed a cactus before. I suck at it. I don't know why. I just can't do it. So I decided I wanted to try it again, and it's something I've always wanted to try again because I think it'd be really cool if I could have one of those beautiful planted tanks that you see on like Instagram and stuff. I would love that. I've been wanting to try this for a long time, never really felt like it was the right time to do it, and what better time to do it than when I'm just sitting at my house doing literally nothing with my life but caring for my animals and caring for myself, and that's it. I decided to get all of the supplies to set up a betta tank. As much as I wanted to bring that betta home, I did not want to rush him home. I did debate it because debate it. I debated the betta. Debated it. I debated it. Okay, I hate myself. Anyway, I did debate it because I was going to do a big water change on my axolotl tank, and I thought maybe I could take some of the axolotl water and put it in the freshwater tank, and take some of the old axolotl filtration media and put it in the new betta tank, and then I would have a semi-cycled betta tank so the betta would not have to go through the cycling and freak out and possibly die, or at the very, very least be extremely, extremely stressed. So I was very much debating it. So I was very much debating it. But then you know what? I decided I am a changed woman and I do not impulsively buy animals anymore. So I'm gonna put that betta aside, as much as I loved it and thought it was the cutest betta in the world. I asked the workers there if they could put it on hold. They said they could for a period of time, but I've taken a lot longer cycling the tank just to make sure it's right. So I'm pretty sure he's not there anymore, which is perfectly fine that I didn't get a betta from them, because Petschmo equals no. Petschmo equals no. I'm just kidding. I shop there all the time, but I don't buy animals from them. I have before. I think I've got my Pac-Man frog from them that died like real quick, the one whose butt fell out. And I got Echo from them, who was missing a chunk out of his nose because he was bitten in the face there. They had a horrible enclosure for him. But yeah, no. Petschmo equals no. I don't need to get a betta from them, no matter how cute he is. I hope he's living a good life somewhere. Love you. Little betta with the cute eyes, I love you, homie, but I'm gonna have to get a relative of yours online or something. That does remind me, if you guys do know any good betta breeders, please put them in the comments below. I do really want to find a very special, pretty betta, but from a very good breeder. So please, suggestions. So that's fine. But anyway, I was not impulsive, at least on an animal, which is the important part. You don't want to impulsively take a life home with you, and I've learned from that. So I set up a betta tank, and that's what this video is about, is how I set it up. Yeah, I went to Petschmo for $15 at most purchase and left like $500 later, because I also bought some supplies for my snake enclosures. It'd be that way. I did not bring home a betta in this video. It's just showing you how I personally chose to cycle this tank. Some beginner plants that I just put in there for a test and everything, just to get everything going. So this will obviously become a little mini series, like a 3-part thing or something, of me setting up the tank and then getting the betta and then doing all the stuff to prepare to be a betta owner. Some people do say betta, I say betta. Please don't attack me for saying it that way. I've had some people very aggressively mad about it before. They've just been like, it's better. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Sorry for how I speak, okay? But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you after the setup. Also, after this footage, I do want to talk to you guys about some weird things that I want to address, and that will be after this segment. So, okay, cool. just for the initial startup, I am going to be ordering an external filter online and really look through all my options. And I believe it's going to be sitting like right here, and then the tubes will come through like that. But for now, I'm just going to get a little hang on back, really cheap filter that I got from Petco. It'll just do the job of initially helping cycle the tank. But I do want this tank to look really cool and really nice, so do believe I'm going to get an external filter so I don't have this nasty thing hanging on the back. Since I am going to be doing a planted tank but only have a single beta in there, I believe, I am going to go ahead and keep the flow very minimal for the beta and then only get plants that need low flow. So I really gotta look into plants. I'm gonna be learning a lot about them this time because I don't know anything about plants, but we're gonna start with the basics and work our way up and make it look nicer and nicer. But like I said, for now we're starting with this really cheap one just because it's an easy way to start it up. So I put the 2 little suction cups on the back. I'm gonna get these other suction cups and put them on the top. Now there's 2 different options. I put them both on so you could see the 2 different options. There's the option to get this latch and stick it on the back so then it'll hang from the top, and there's the option to suction cup. I'm actually gonna do the option to hang it because the suction cups sometimes lose their grip and then sink into the tank, and then your filter will be below water level and fallen into the tank, and we don't want that. Alright, so I have the filter media right here, and I'm going to leave that to the side, and I am going to go start getting the gravel cleaned so we could put that on the ground. So the next thing we're going to need is to start filling up the water and get the gravel in there. We are going to be using a substrate over here that I got that's by Fluval. I've never tried it before, so please don't take my word that this is some great product. I don't know if any of these products are good yet. I'm trying these all for the first time. But this is supposed to be very rich in minerals and very good for plant life. So we will see just how good that is when we put this in the tank. So the first thing that we need to do is put this in a bucket of water and clean it. Because what's gonna happen if I pour this straight in there and then pour my water on top is it's gonna be really murky and you're not gonna be able to see in the tank. So we're gonna clean this up first in a bucket. So I need to go get a bucket. Ghost, please move from the bucket. Ghost, please move from the, Ghost, move. Ghost, I just have to pick you up, okay? Excuse me, thank you. Okay, so now I'm gonna dump the substrate into this bucket of water. Okay, if you could see, this water is disgustingly brown now, so I'm gonna go pour that out, rinse it out a little bit, and bring it back. This method of rinsing out the substrate really depends on what substrate you're getting. If you are buying a substrate with a lot of live bacteria in it and you do the method where you wash it out, let's say for a saltwater tank, and you put a lot of fresh water in there and wash it out, you're going to diminish and kill the live bacteria. So if you're trying to preserve the live bacteria, don't do this. If you don't care if there's live bacteria in it and you don't care if you kill it or not, this is a good method to remove the dirt and the nastiness from it. Okay, so I went into my bathroom and I rinsed it and drained it 4 more times, and now my back is throbbing so bad from bending and pouring over and over and over that I cannot do it anymore at all. I cannot bend over anymore. I still have to pour all the water in here too, so I know my back is going to be killing me and I'll probably be out for a few days after this, but I rinsed it as best I could. It's probably going to still be really murky when I put it in here because I just couldn't continue draining it. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding the water. I'm not going to fill it up all the way to the top because we have to take into account all the accessories or items that we want to add into the tank that might raise the water levels. So before I fill it up anymore, I'm going to add the weight of the decoration that I have. There's literally like 2 little things I have. I'm going to put it in there and just see how high it goes. And then I'm going to start the filter. I'm going to get this wet and turn my filter on and go grab the objects I need. Another thing we still need to do is we need to get the lights, which I'm pretty sure I have the lights I want to use. And I need to get a lid. And I'm going to build my own lid. So now I'm going to turn the filter on. Okay, so now we've got all the water in there, and I'm going to see if I could set up this light real quick. I just got this Fluval. It's a nano one for plants. It's for like nano and desktop aquariums, as it says right there, and it's for plants, as it says right there. So I bought it already opened, but it looked like everything was in there. That's what the box looks like.
one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. Can somebody save me, I'm losing every battle.
So I don't mean to abruptly just stop, but this is all I have so far, and these are just the very beginner plants, just everything just barely getting started in this tank. I don't think I'm even going to keep any of the decorations. I'm going to order some really pretty rock. Everything is going to be entirely different. This is just the very initial base setup just to get it running. The next video will go into how you do water changes for an early cycling tank, and all the way up until it's time to get the beta, or I just keep aquascaping, because this is not going to be the decorations or anything. I just wanted to stress that.
Will my planted tank be a horrible disaster? Likely. Will it be entertaining?
Not.
Likely. Hopefully. If it does go bad, I will just go back to fake plants and stuff, but I'm gonna try to give it a good run. I think I got a good light. I'm a very open for suggestions. I want you guys to put in my comments ways I can help the plants, lights, methods I could use, if I should use CO2, because I've heard some good things about CO2, but also how if you accidentally overdo it just by a little bit, you'll wipe out your tank. Please leave suggestions. I've been doing research, of course, but I love hearing from people who have personally experienced all different kinds of ways to do it, so comments please. And hopefully this series will be a good representation of what a good beta tank can look like, because I've seen some nasty ones on Twitter lately. There's been a weird theme of alcoholic betas, like people are just finishing their bottles and cleaning them out and filling them up and putting betas in them, which is weird to me and just not cute. The beta's not happy in that. And then there's those little wall tanks where they like just sit on the wall like a tiny little picture. And I will reiterate that fish are not objects. They are not furniture. They are not pieces of art. I mean, they are art, but they're living art and they need to be treated like they are alive. In these bowls and bottles and wall pictures and stuff, the beta might live, and I can't say that they won't. I can't scare you into putting them in a tank by telling you the beta will die, because they might live. I mean, people get goldfish in bowls and sometimes they live like 5 years somehow. They might do that, but that does not mean that they are happy. Basically, you're gonna have to anticipate to get criticized if you keep your beta in like a situation like this. It's gonna happen because it's not ideal. Basically, if you really want to care for a beta, I feel like you should value their life. So if you think of them as decoration, you're not gonna want to treat them well, and no matter what I say, it's not gonna convince you to want to take them out of the bowl if you think they're doing okay. If you think of them just as a cute object, I understand that. Even if you don't think of them as an object, maybe you don't have the money for a tank and you're gonna have a hard time accepting that maybe you should rehome it. I understand the idea of it being hard to part with an animal that you enjoy looking at, but if you can't afford a tank, it really is best you give them to someone who can, because the reality is they don't enjoy their life in a bowl. But if you actually do want to care for them and learn about them and get to experience the experience of owning a beta and all of the cool things that you get to see when you own a fish, because it's really cool to have your own little mini underwater ecosystem in a tank. That's really fun and cool to learn about. But you gotta actually want to do it, or you're gonna be perfectly fine with them sitting in a bottle so you could show your friends,
Hey, there's a fish in here, isn't that funny?
Like, there are some ways you can greatly improve your beta's quality of life, and that is just by getting a minimum of 2.5 gallons for your fish tank. I did 10 gallons for mine, and yeah, that's great if you can do it, but at the absolute minimum, if you are struggling with money, get a 2.5 gallon tank, get a filter, and get a heater, and you're set. So in this series, I'm gonna go through some ways that you personally might be able to improve your beta's life with the things I do. Nothing I do is gonna be that insane. It's just gonna be live plants and a 10-gallon tank. So I'm not doing anything crazy, and I don't know everything about betas, so I hope I learn as I go through this, and I hope I find methods that I didn't even know about from my past experiences. Basically, I'm just gonna document all of the things I experienced when owning a little beta. hopefully it all goes according to plan. Okay, so now that that's over, there's a few things I want to address. I'm actually going to do a different video where I address all this stuff more thoroughly, but I wanted to make some things clear that I don't fully appreciate that I'm seeing going on out there. When people have problems with me, I tweet about it a lot, and that's because I don't address it in videos, so I constantly readdress it on Twitter, and I don't like that cycle. It makes my Twitter really unenjoyable. So I decided I do want to make a video where I address everything that I want to address with the controversy, anything controversial going on. I want to address personally in a video just so I can say it all and be done, and if I need to link anyone to it, can link them to that video, and I never have to engage in Twitter drama again because I'm tired of it. It's bad. Basically, there's a lot of things that I want to address that I think is very unfair that's happening personally, but just a quick example that I want to throw out there. I'm really tired of people taking things I say and stopping them mid-sentence and then just posting them around like, I can't believe she said this. When, yes, I did say it, but the rest of the sentence makes so much more sense to say it. You know? Some sentences, if you cut them mid-sentence, they don't sound as good as if you play the whole sentence. To be fair, this may have been a big mistake on my part, but I feel like the way it's been spread has made it a lot worse. So my last video was a video about all different kinds of ways to help stuck sheds with snakes. Now personally, there's only one method I use, and that is the bathtub/tub method, where you put the animal with the stuck shed either in the tub or a tub that has a lid. And you put them with warm, conditioned water, you leave them there for a little bit, and then you run your hands against the shed and it comes off without any hesitation. That's personally the method I use. That's the only method I've ever used or had to use. But in the past, when I do these educational type videos, I've been told that I seem biased towards one type of care method or whatever it may be. So due to that, I wanted this video to detail all different kinds of methods that there are out there that people use, even if they aren't ones I personally have ever used. So I literally sat on my computer going through websites that teach you about this stuff and wrote notes about it. So I wrote it down, and I mean, I had pages and pages and pages and pages, and it goes more this way too. Pages and pages of notes. Because personally, I knew about the tub method and how that works and stuff, and that's the one I know most about, but I wanted to list other methods that people could look into also if that method doesn't work for them. Because I didn't want to just give you guys one way when there might be other ways that work better for you. So I went online, I went into forums, and I looked for the most consistently mentioned methods in all of the forums and websites that I went to, and I addressed all of those in the video. One of the methods was for retained eye caps, which is something I have never dealt with. And I made sure to make that very clear in my video that I personally wasn't going to show an example of this method because I don't feel comfortable doing it. It's not something I've ever dealt with before, and it's dangerous. So I didn't give an example of it because I did not feel comfortable with it. But one of the methods was to do multiple steps first with your hands or a Q-tip to moisten the stuck or retained eye cap until it gently lifts off the eye. And the last step of this process was if it begins to peel upwards at one of the sides of the eye, that you can get some very, 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 very blunt tweezers, not ones with sharp edges, and grab the part that's lifted up and pull it off, and only do it if it comes off easily, if it gives you any hesitation, to stop immediately. And I personally made sure to stress that this could blind your animal if you do it wrong, that to never put anything sharp near a hole of your animal, like in their nose or their ear or their eye. I tried to stress as much as I could that this method is very dangerous to do unless you are super, super comfortable with the animal. There are people that are so comfortable with their snakes that they can do this kind of method with a blunt object because they know their snake doesn't commonly freak out and stuff and jerk around, which if you put something like that near their eye and they move, you can stab their eye. Basically, I thought the method was quite dangerous and risky, but I mentioned it because it is a valid method that people use. I'll pop up a few articles right here that had that listed. Basically, it is a method. Exercise, extreme caution, and even mentioning it. And I reiterated over and over, if you have even an inch of doubt when doing this, stop and just go see a vet because it's not worth it. This is a much more stressful situation. You can cause permanent damage if you deal with it wrong, even permanent blindness if you deal with it wrong. Grabbing one of the edges and very, very gently seeing if it comes off. If there is much resistance at all, stop and repeat the steps. Do not try to force it off. You can really, really hurt your snake's eyes or your other reptile's eyes. If you do not feel comfortable, if you do not know your snake well enough to know how they will react with you messing with such a sensitive, delicate area, please go to a vet. If you're dealing with an eyeball, please do not get anything sharp near that. Severely damage their vision, can cause very bad injuries, blindness, deafness. Don't do it. I'm gonna very, 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 very lightly touch the retained eye cap. Do not push on it. Just lightly touch. If it does not come off easily, if your snake is scared, if you are scared, stop and just go to the vet. Let the professionals do it. And of course, make sure the vet is certified in reptiles. Don't go to a cat and dog vet. They might mess it up just as easily as you do. I listed it simply because it is a method, but it wasn't one that I tried to recommend. With this being said, maybe it was wrong of me to list it at all because yeah, it's dangerous and maybe I could have just left it out. But I was trying to be very inclusive and talk about all the methods. I even talked about the pillowcase method, which has suffocated and killed some snakes, and I covered that and said if you are gonna do it, what kind of pillow to get and what kind of one to avoid because you could suffocate your snake. I covered a bunch of methods and even ones that I don't personally use or even really like. You may wonder what the massive issue is here if you aren't one of the people who thought it was a massive issue. The people who thought it was a massive issue decided to cut what I said mid-sentence or misrepresent what I said and posted around that what I claimed was that if your snake has a retained eye cap, to grab some tweezers and pull it out. That's obviously very different than what I said, but nevertheless, it got passed around like I said that. I did not show an example, and yet there were people tweeting that they love watching me poke my snake's eye out with tweezers. I saw people, again, post about how dangerous it is for me to say that because I have such an impressionable audience and that I was teaching kids to grab just some random tweezers and stab their snake's eyes out. When I feel like, again, yes, I do have an impressionable audience, but I don't think my audience is so dumb that they don't know what if you do this you could blind your snake means. I feel like they know what that means. I feel like they know what if you do not feel super comfortable with your snake and know how to do this and don't have an inch of hesitation and know that you are fully comfortable, please go see a vet because you could blind your snake means. I feel like they know what that means, no matter how impressionable my audience is. I feel like they could hear those warnings and think, wow, if I do this, I could blind my snake. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Because I mean, otherwise, if they Googled this online, how to help with a retained eye cap, they might come across the same forums I came across and again think, maybe I should do it, maybe I shouldn't. I don't get what the horrible, horrible thing was in me repeating what the article said and reiterating extreme caution. But yes, this is a repeating issue I've noticed on my channel, is the group of people who don't like me take what I say and mix it up out of context and put it out there in a way that isn't something I said. And it just portrays me in a really bad light, and then these people who don't know me see it and just believe it. And it's just crazy. The amount of people I saw critiquing my video, when I saw the responses, they're like, yeah, I didn't watch it, but now I never will. And I'm like, if you didn't watch it, you don't know what I said. I'm so tired of people taking what I say and misrepresenting it. For example, my cat is fat. I know she's fat. Here she is. She's fat. Okay? That's my cat. My cat is fat. I know she's fat. I don't argue that she's fat. I have very, very loudly said that she is fat and I'm trying to get her not to be fat. But when people ask me how she got fat, I said that I think she's overeating by stealing Nemo and Ghost's food. And I didn't know that originally because I didn't pay attention to the first like 15 minutes when I put their food down. I'd walk away and she would go to every single bowl and gobble up as much as she can. And I didn't know that. And when I said that, people then posted online that I am blaming my cat for being fat and refuse to help her and just say it's her fault that she overeats. That's not what I meant, and you know that. I don't get why people purposely take what I say and mix it up and put it out there. Like I said, I'm gonna get much more into this in another video. I'm gonna do a whole video dedicated to this stuff and just posting like my side of it with receipts and stuff rather than just this quick rundown, but I'm so tired of it because some of it gets around enough where people blindly believe this crazy allegation that just isn't true. It's absurd. And then people come up with the idea due to this, because when I see this happening, I post out that I do not appreciate this happening and that I feel like it's very targeted and hateful. And so people would take that and post it everywhere that I don't accept criticism and that I just label it as hate, which is not what I'm saying. There has been so many times that people have come up to me and said, hey, try this food method instead of this one. It's a lot better. I say okay. For example, I took the second litter box out of my house for my cats because they never use it. In my vlog about what I do in a day, I mentioned that there's only one litter box. Someone commented, hey, it's really bad that you removed the second litter box because they can get territorial over that one litter box. You should add it back. So I added it back.
Hi Celia, I love you. Oh, she looked up. I love her.
Oh my god. Oh, I love her. Something else I did want to address really quick is that this is not... Focus. Focus! But the other litter box is here, and this obviously isn't one that is used as often, but it still is a second option. Even though they barely use it, at least they have it, and I thought that was a good point. I see people point out about food sizes, like maybe I should increase or decrease the food size I feed my snakes. I look into it. I take them to the vet to verify. Do I need to change their food size? I've had people make recommendations for all of my animals that I take into account. When I moved my rats into my newer house, when I initially moved them, I put them into a cage that did not have floor liners, and I thought it was okay since it was only going to be a little bit, like 2 weeks max until I got a new cage. But people stress that even 2 weeks might hurt their feet. So I heard that and I made sure to add liners to their cage even though it was a temporary cage. I hear recommendations all the time and I take them. At the very least, I look into them and see if they can be helpful for me or if it's not something that works for me in my care. So criticism is not something I refuse. People think that when I tweet out that I don't like all this hate, that's what I'm meaning, that I don't accept people to tell me better ways to take care of my animals, which absolutely isn't the case. What I don't appreciate and what I call hate is when people make accounts with their profile picture being me in the deepest of my heroin addiction, mocking me, constantly saying I'm not sober anymore, mocking my addiction, and going after everything I say in a very twisted, weird way. Or when people copy my mom's Twitter to the point that I've had family members and friends come to me and be like, why is your mom talking this way online? And it isn't my mom. They're parody accounts being very, very rude about my family, about me, about my mom, and just things in general that aren't things my mom say. My friend recently got some comments from someone she thought was my mom, and she's like, why is your mom so mad at me? It wasn't my mom. This is not criticism. This is a very targeted agenda where you are looking to take everything I say and spin it in any way possible to prove I am the bad guy. And that's not criticism. That's very biased, and that's you wanting to prove one set of beliefs that you have, that I'm a bad person, and you will do it at any cost, even if it means misinterpreting everything I say into the worst version possible. And that's not okay, and that's not just criticism, and I stand by that. So I'm going to be making a video addressing all my criticism about my animals and my care and me as a person, and I'm just gonna get it over with and be done. And then if anyone addresses it ever again, I could just send them that video and never have to address it ever again. Because I'm tired of trying to defend myself on Twitter constantly because I'm scared if I don't, what I said will get bigger and blow up when it isn't even something I said. And I'm tired of defending myself like that. And I just don't like this. I come from a place where I always try to understand people, excessively so, where like even if there's a person who's doing something I really, really disagree with morally, I try to look into what is making them say those things and react that way and be that way. And I always look to understand people, and this just feels like the polar opposite, where everything I say they look for how can this be displayed as bad. And it's just insane. and I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of it being portrayed as that I don't accept criticism towards my care, because I do. Now, that doesn't mean that every single time someone says I'm doing something wrong that I'm gonna be like, oh, you're right, it's wrong. There'll be sometimes where someone will tell me something about my care and I'll look into it and I'll be like, you know, no, I think my animals are being cared for properly and that I don't need to improve in this area in the way that you're suggesting. I always look into recommendations because I want my animals to have the best life. I literally started getting reptiles after I made YouTube. Like, my very first reptile I got after I was already on YouTube. So I've always known I've had a love for animals, but I got to document on my channel my adventure of getting to take in these animals and work with them. And I got to document that from day one on here. And I think that's super fun and amazing. And that's all this has ever been for me, is a way to document my love of animals, share it with everyone, make people's days better, teach you guys what I learn along the way, and that's it. It's never me trying to come in as some 10-year veteran expert that knows so much better than everyone, because I don't. I'm learning along with everyone. So I'm ranting, I'm rambling. I'll save it for the other video where I actually have lined up like receipts of everything, and I'll just go through what I was accused of doing versus what I see happened with receipts and stuff, and just get that all settled, because I don't want to reply to it anymore. It's literally just deteriorating my mental health. There's been days I wake up dead set on filming, and then I see the hate and I get so sad and emotional, and then I stay in bed all day and I get nothing done. So the way I'm doing it right now isn't productive. I always thought that making a video would give too much attention to it and I didn't need to do it, but I just want to do it. I want to, and I'm going to, and then I'm never going to talk about it again because I'm tired of it. But anyway, the people who do those things are still such a small percentage of the people who watch my content, and I mean, there's still a huge majority of people being supportive of my content, and I'm very aware of that. On Twitter and Instagram, I try to reply to as many viewers as I can, try to interact with you guys in the comments all the time on Twitter and Instagram. I try to make it very clear that I'm not overlooking the mass amount of people who are so kind and loving to my channel, because there are so many of you guys and I'm so appreciative of it. It means so much to me. The support I have really, really does mean so much to me. So I wanted to make that clear, that even though I am addressing this stuff, that I don't think my channel is flooded with hate. I do think I have so many supporters, and I'm so thankful for that. And I hope that by me addressing those things, it doesn't make you think that I don't see all the amazing things, because I do. I mean, since coming out about my addiction, I've had so many people who think so differently about addiction come at me in very rude, aggressive ways. And yeah, that hurts, but the amount of people that say it helps them, and the amount of people that are actually interested now in discovering a sober life because of me sharing my story, means everything to me, and it makes it so worth it. Just if I could help one person, that makes it worth it. So the amount of people that say they are helped by that content, I can't even, like, my heart can't even, I can't process it. It means so much to me. So I wanted to stress that yes, even though I'm addressing this negative stuff, I am so aware of all the positivity that you guys are giving to my channel, and I am so grateful for that. I am perfectly aware that I have made mistakes. I know that. The last 2 years of my life was absolutely insane. Mentally, I was not well. The fact that so many people supported me through that, I really don't know if I deserved it, but I'm so grateful for it, and I'm trying every day to better myself. Not only for myself, but also to show you guys just how grateful I am for getting this chance to use my platform now for something good, now that I got through all of the crap. So I'm rambling, but I'm just so grateful for you guys, and I wanted to end my video on that note and not a negative one. So thank you guys. Bye. Also, I did want to say just one more time a very big thank you to June's Journey for sponsoring. Please, again, make sure to check out their app. It is really fun, and I think you guys will enjoy it. I forgot to do like an outro thing where I'm like, please subscribe and like and stuff. But please subscribe and like and stuff. If you go subscribe, that helps me a bunch. If you give a thumbs up, that helps me a bunch. If you comment cool video, that helps me a bunch. And check out my other channel where I talk about more personal stuff. I just posted one about addiction. Hey howdy hey. And subscribe. Did I mention you should subscribe? Because you should subscribe.